Hey, so it's me, and it is April 2nd, so it's the second day of Camp NaNoWriMo, and my current word count is 3,425, and that none of that has been written today. All of that was from April 1st, yesterday. I wrote about 22,000 something words, and then like March 28th and 9th, like the end of March, I wrote like 1,000 words, and that was me trying to get a head start on Camp Nano. Which, kind of worked in my favor because my goal for the first day was just to hit 1,000, but now I'm set through like day 3 and like half of day 4. So we're good. The moving guys are coming on Thursday, and then Friday I'm going to be driving up with my friend to my new place. So I have the whole week to both write and finish packing. Right now I'm sitting in the corner of my room. There used to be a dresser here, and there is now nothing here. So I'm really going to miss these walls. The new place, the walls are just white. Today the plan is to go to Barnes & Noble because I want to, and also this is probably going to be the last time I go to this particular Barnes & Noble before I move. So in the last video when I was announcing that I was doing Camp NaNoWriMo this April, I said that I would be doing it for book 2 of Stormcloud, which I think we can appropriately title Snowflake. I got my snowflake jewelry. Can you see? My necklace, and then I've got my ring. So yeah, because it takes place during the winter, and so I'm going to be using a lot of wintry themes. In case you didn't know, Stormcloud and Snowflake are not the actual book titles. These are just my kind of nicknames for YouTube. I feel like I should say that, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm in the process of moving. I'm moving for a job in a completely different state, and I'm going to be by myself, and I don't know anybody there, and I don't know how I'm going to be starting. I start the job in the middle of the month. And I'm basically going to be using the time before then to just get settled and get everything done that I need to get done. And I still have some work for my online class, which is to get my Teaching English as a Foreign Language certificate. But basically all that is to say, Camp NaNoWriMo came at a very interesting time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit my 30,000 necessarily because I have so much other stuff going on this month, but we shall see. Anyway, thank you guys for coming with me today. I can update you later on in the day with how many words I hit at Barnes & Noble. Hey! Okay, anyway, we're turning this off now. Hey, so I am back from Barnes & Noble's. It is 5 p.m. exactly, actually. So I was there for like maybe 3.5 hours or something like that. My current word count is 5,759, so 5,700. That means I wrote about 2,400 words while I was there, which is pretty good. I noticed that it always takes me a few minutes to get started. It usually takes me about maybe half an hour to an hour of like flicking through my notes, doing kind of some aimless tasks, or even just like a measly typing away, trying to figure out, okay, what's the next sentence? What's the next sentence? Like it just feels like I'm inching along until suddenly, about like maybe 45 minutes to an hour in, I hit that stride and I'm just going. I wrote a scene where my main character, which I already told you her name was Race, so I'll just say her. My main character, Race, she visited somebody who she kind of used to trust but no longer trusts. And so, they kind of had a very intense conversation, and like it just got really tense towards the end, and like as I'm writing this, the words are coming faster, and I just knew like, okay, I could tell that the pacing of the scene was really good. Like there was some really good pacing in the scene. It was going pretty fast, and then like that kind of transitions into the next scene where she's like really pissed about their interaction. Like it just left her angry, and so that anger just fueled the next scene. Like it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful thing. Oh my gosh. I love when I just love being so into the scene when I'm writing it, It's April 3rd and I am currently at 6,286 words. Today I've written like maybe 500 words. Oh, there's my timer telling me to stop writing. Honestly, I haven't been writing for like half the time that timer was going. Do you ever like get to a scene and maybe you don't really know how it's supposed to end? You know what information you want to convey, you know what you want to happen in the scene, but maybe you don't know how it's going to end, or you don't know how to connect it to the following, whatever scene will come after it. That's kind of what I'm doing now. So I sort of just abruptly wrapped up a scene, and now I'm trying to figure out how does she get to the next place. My current word count is actually what it should be 3 days from now, so I'm 3 days ahead. So we're good on that, but you know, if I don't figure out how to transition, it's gonna hold me back a little bit. You'll notice I'm sitting on the floor. I've been sitting on the floor a lot lately. Like, I don't know what it is about sitting on the floor, but it helps me, it makes me focus in a different way. You know, like if you ever like, maybe you work at home most of the time, but then you go to a coffee shop and like maybe you're able to focus better or whatever. But something about sitting on the floor is like another way to kind of focus that a little bit differently. So I just did a 30-minute writing sprint, and it wasn't much of a writing sprint. It was like a little bit of looking at my notes and a little bit of research. And so I only wrote about 400 words during the sprint, which isn't bad because it brings my total to 894 words for the day. And my grand total of 6,653 words altogether. I'm going to probably do another 30 minutes or so of writing. I want to get to the end of a scene, but we'll see how it goes. 5 minutes later. Yeah, I'm not writing anymore. I'm done for the day. I'm going to bed. Thank you. I come to you from a new location. As you can kind of see, there's a lot of plain white walls around me, and that's because I have just moved 2 days ago. I can't wait till my chair comes. I'm so sick of sitting on the air mattress. It's too low, okay? I'm 5'10". I need something a little higher, at least every now and then. Oh, okay. So the last time I wrote was April 3rd. And today's the 8th. So I actually have not written in more than... The washing machine for the building is right outside my door. Okay, we're just going to keep going. Ignore the background noise. I would need to write like 1,400 words today to get back on track, and honestly, because I've gone a few days without writing, I've kind of gotten out of it. Like, I still think about my story. I've thought about it a lot. I even have written down a couple of ideas, but I haven't like been in the mood to write. Is there such thing as good anxiety? Because that's what I'm feeling right now. I notice I always get this feeling when I have that creative rush, you know, like when I'm writing and I'm really like knee deep into it, and I'm typing so fast, or no, rather, I'm thinking so fast that I can't type out the words quickly enough. Like my brain is way faster than my fingers could ever be. And I'm just so excited. Like I like where the scene is going. I'm really feeling it, you know. I'm feeling what my characters are feeling. I make faces. I make the same faces that my characters are feeling. I sometimes talk out loud to hear how my character's dialogue sounds, you know. Like it just... I'm like really into it. Like I'm a method actor. That's kind of what I feel like. I just came home from Barnes & Noble. This is the first time I'd ever been to this particular Barnes & Noble, and actually there's a gnat in here. Oh my gosh. That's been in here for 2 days. I wrote 2,278 words, which brings my total to 9,122, which is puts me right back on track because today is April 9th. As I was writing, I got that really deep, you know, anxiety, but it's like the good kind of anxiety. Ugh! It's the good kind of anxiety. So, you know, I feel this kind of euphoric rush, and then I had to leave because I didn't want to drive home in the dark. And so yeah, I'm still feeling it. I'm still kind of itching to get back and write. Let's see, what did I write today? I wrote the scene that I was kind of unsure of how to write earlier. It was probably like April 3rd or 4th in the vlog when I was talking about how I didn't know how the next scene was going to go. I was trying to figure out how it was going to connect. So that was the scene that I wrote today. I wrote that, and then I wrote like the next 2 scenes. Yeah, so we're doing this. We're doing this. It's 7:06 p.m. It's Thursday, April 12th, and my current word count is 10,989. So I'm 1,100 words behind for what I should have by the end of today, which is fine. I didn't do any writing yesterday because, as you can probably see, there's some furniture behind me now, and I can give you a room tour later when I feel like standing up. But yeah, I spent most of yesterday, you know, having the movers bring the stuff in, and then you know, basically putting everything away. So I've been sitting here for like maybe half an hour or so, reading back what I wrote. Like, it takes you all this time to write a scene, but then it takes you a fraction of that time to read it back. The amount of time you put into it versus the amount of time someone takes to consume that piece of creativity is vastly different. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about now. So I spent this morning at the DMV, and then I came home to get some paperwork and call my insurance company and then go back to the DMV. But I got my car registered, and I got my driver's license, my temporary driver's license, until the other one comes in the mail. So that kind of stuff is sorted. Yeah. Quick room tour. I don't think I did this yesterday. So yeah, so let's start at the door. First of all, the door. I got an over the door hook, a bunch of stuff hanging on it. Yeah, there's the shoes I wore today. And so, slow pan of the room with all my furniture and stuff. And here's the tiny little kitchen. Now let's get back to some writing related stuff. Hello there. Welcome to my show. I had a really successful day at Barnes & Noble. I wrote the most words today that I've written all month. So just an update, it is April 13th. Oh my gosh, it's Friday the 13th. Oh my gosh, okay. So the movers, when they came and they brought my stuff, I had a mirror. And the mirror was the only thing that they brought that was broken. And they brought this like on Wednesday, so this is like the 11th, okay? But just today I was telling my mom, or talking to my mom, and she was like, broken mirrors are bad luck. And I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, don't look into it. And I'm like, I already looked into it, but I won't look into it today. And so I threw out the mirror because, you know, don't want to have that around. But yeah, it seems I've had good luck today. So today at Barnes & Noble, I wrote 3,198 words. So my word count at the end of the day yesterday was 11,010. I only wrote 204 words yesterday. It wasn't very productive. And I finished at 14,208 words. So I am ahead of the curve for tomorrow. I guess the thing I want to talk about today in terms of what I realized when I was writing is that, you know, so as I'm writing, I'll come across a sentence where I need to know a specific detail, and it could be a specific detail about like for instance, today I wrote a scene in a cave, and I needed to know basically more about this cave, like, you know, how did it look? How would people who have been there describe it? Like, I needed to know those types of things, and I feel like I can't write the scene until I know that information, because how am I going to be able to incorporate those types of details, sensory and otherwise, into the story? A lot of writers might just put looking up that fact into like the revisions. Once they've written the entire draft, they'll go back, they might have a note in their manuscript that said look up the height of this mountain, and then that way they can research it while they're doing revisions. Me, on the other hand, that doesn't work for me. I need to know how tall that mountain is as I'm writing the scene. So I will step aside, I will go over to the internet, I will look up how tall that mountain is, and then I will put it in my story, and then I will chug on, okay? That's all I got for today. Hello, today is April 22nd, and it has been over a week since the last time I vlogged and the last time I wrote. It's just interesting because, okay, today's Sunday. I started my new job a week ago on Monday. And like, it's been really great and everything, but I come home and I kind of just don't feel like doing anything. Like, you know, I've been awake at that point for like 12 hours. While I'm doing this job, I need to establish kind of a habit of writing, when I would write, you know, what days I would write, whether I'd write after work or, you know, whatever. Just the point is, this week was supposed to kind of set that precedent, and it sort of fell to the wayside. It kind of concerns me for the rest of the month. Like, am I going to hit my word count? I'm still only halfway there, and there's only like a little over a week left. In past years, the summer of 2016, I did a good job of balancing a full-time job with doing a heck of a lot of writing. That's actually when I first started this channel. So I was doing a full-time job, I was writing a lot, and I was reading, and I was doing the YouTube channel. I don't know if it was the fact that I was in New York, and so I was just kind of like pumped for life at that point. Now I'm just really chill for life. Today it is April 23rd, and it is Monday, and there is 1 week left in Camp NaNoWriMo. What is my word count, you ask? I shall tell you. It is 17,224. So we're inching our way there. But the important thing is that when I said I was probably going to try to write yesterday, I actually did. I wrote almost 1,000 words. Can you guess where I went after work today? Barnes & Noble. Yeah, there's really no surprise there. I don't know why I even bother saying that I went there anymore. But wrote almost 1,700 words at Barnes & Noble today. Okay, so I had this thing. I had this like epiphany. My theme of the day was, or even my motto of the day was, I'm in New York. Let me tell you, I am not in New York, okay? I'm in a completely different state. Yesterday I mentioned how I was trying to compare how I was so motivated in New York when I was there for my internship a couple summers ago to kind of my having a full-time job now. I woke up this morning, I just had this whole mindset. I dressed like I was in New York, like I look really nice at work today, and then, you know, I had like my hair and my makeup, and I had my attitude, and I was just feeling great. Today was a really great day. It really helped that today was a really nice, sunny, even almost warm day. So that made me feel like I was in New York a little bit, except for the fact that I wasn't profusely sweating and my feet weren't seriously hurting as I stood waiting for the subway. I also wore heels today. And then I remember that when I was in New York, after work, a lot of times I would go somewhere. Like I would go somewhere like right after work, either to write or just to do something, you know, for fun. And I hadn't been doing that here. That whole theme of I'm in New York was, I gotta do it. I can't just think about doing it. I have to do it. I have to go after it. I have to let my creativity fester. Fester is such a disgusting word. I'm gonna try to keep this I'm in New York theme going for the rest of the week. I am the lady in red because my pants, oh Lord, and then my bone just cracked. I come to you from April 26th, and it's Thursday, and I have not written in 2 days. I haven't even tried to write today because I just got home from work. Yeah, so I didn't write yesterday either, and that's because like I told you from the last time I think I was vlogging, I told you I was sick, like I had a cold. Well, that turned into a sinus infection, and I had like these weird heart palpitations, and so I went to urgent care, and like I got that all resolved. Everything's fine, nothing's wrong with my heart. It was just the side effect of the medicine I was taking. And so feeling better today. Today's a beautiful sunny day, and I decided to come straight home because I'm like, okay, I need to kind of rest up and get a little bit better. On Tuesday I went to Barnes & Noble, and I didn't update you in the vlog yet about this, but I wrote 859 words, which is not a lot, especially since I am still way behind. Like I think I am like 8,000 words behind. I don't think I'm going to catch up if I'm being honest with you, but we'll see. Maybe I can still catch up. I only wrote 859 words, but I did work out a couple of like tweaks in the plot. And so that made me feel like I had written a lot more. It made me feel like I was more productive, you know, but so the issue that I had that I worked out was, let's see, how do I explain it? My main character is like trying to basically sort of solve this mystery. That kind of makes it sound like it's more of a mystery than it is. So she has this, she's trying to figure something out basically. And so she's trying to figure out, okay, who do I know that would know the answer to this question, or who would be able to help guide me in my search. And so she's going to people and like asking them questions, and she's doing some research in the library. And so basically I had a couple of details. I was trying to figure out how exactly would she find this information out, like how realistically would she find this out, and how can I connect her finding this out with like other elements of the plot so it doesn't go too far on a tangent. Today I'm going to try to write. I'm going to eat some ice cream because I've been craving ice cream for a couple of days, and I know you're not supposed to eat a dairy when you have a cold, but I'm like, okay, but I want it anyway, so I'm going to eat it. Today is April 28th, Saturday, and it is the third to last day of Camp NaNoWriMo, and I started today with 18,083 words, which is what I had as my word count like a couple days ago, so yeah, it's not looking great. I did do some writing today, so I wrote about 1,000 words today, so I'm like just over 19,000 now. So I went to a cafe this morning for breakfast, and while I was there, I had my notebook with me and pencil, of course. So while I was waiting for my food, I basically started writing the next scene of where I left off. I wrote like 3 or 2.5 pages in this notebook. When I transcribed it to my computer, it ended up at about like 500 words, which is pretty good. So that was great. That was a great start. And then after I left the cafe, I went over to Panera Bread, which sort of sounds like, what? You went to 2 food places? Like, okay, when I was at Panera Bread, I only had a chai tea. I didn't have food there. So, and I even like, it sat there for like an hour before I actually started drinking it. And so while I was there, I wrote the other half of that 1,000, so like maybe another 500 words, finished that scene, wrote another small scene, and then started the next one. And for that next scene, it takes place in, I'll just say Venice. It takes place in Venice. And so I was doing some like research of like the area, like, you know, reading a couple articles and stuff like that, and like getting some keywords, trying to figure out, okay, how do I want the mood of the scene to come across, because it's a very, very brief scene, and it's the only scene in Venice. So that's all I really did. And then I left Panera Bread because I was really, it felt like I was like pulling teeth, basically. It felt like I just don't have the motivation to write. Yeah, especially not to write 12,000 words. Like at this point I have 11,000 more words to write by the end of the month, and that's not looking good either. Like I could do it if I was motivated, but I'm just not motivated, and I don't know if it's because I'm just not feeling writing right now. I don't know if it's because maybe the scenes that I have to write are not like not that they don't appeal to me, because they do appeal to me. Like there's scenes that I've wanted to write for a while. If you remember at the end of August, when I was reaching my 50,000 words in my 50,000 word blog, which I can link down below, in that I had to write 9,000 words on the last day of the month to reach my goal. And I did it because the scene that I was writing was like one of the pivotal scenes in the story, so it was super exciting. There was a lot of emotions. Some of my characters were like terrified and they were angry, and so like for some reason when I have to write scenes where characters are feeling those emotions, it's easier to write it. Like I'm more motivated, it's more exciting, the pace is really going. So that's the type of scene I should be writing at the end of a month. Which, you know, it's hard to time that, you know, like you can't always time writing a specific scene with, you know, end of the month. I am sort of kind of on the verge of like an exciting scene, but it's not like the last scene. Like in that scene at the end of August, like people died. Like it was pretty tragic. This is not super tragic. I'm still gonna try to write throughout the end of the month. I don't know if I am gonna try to hit 30,000 words. I think it's more like maybe reaching a specific scene. I look so blue. It's like 5 minutes from the last segment of the video you just saw, and all I've done was change my clothes, but I just was thinking. So I've got my little thing of index cards here. I had the thought that I can like play with that a little bit, like maybe rearrange some things and write some new index cards. Over the last week or two or so, as I've been sort of playing around with the order of some of the scenes I have here in book 2, I have not really been updating my index cards to match kind of the ideas in my head. I've been updating it a little bit more on OneNote, but not really there. So I think that I've got this element of confusion in terms of like, okay, the scene that I thought I was supposed to write next, I've now bumped it up, so it's not going to come until like way later in the book. So I'm like, okay, then what do I write next? And even if I figure out what I write next, I don't necessarily know what comes right after that, or I don't really know how to sort of perceive these scenes, because you know when I first write down this order of scenes, and once I kind of come up with this order of scenes, and of course I always allow myself the freedom to change it as necessary, but when I come up with the order of scenes, I picture them in a certain way, you know. I kind of picture how my character is feeling, like, you know, in the last scene, you know, maybe she was pissed off, and so she goes into the next scene with that like emotion on her shoulders. But if I change the scene that she's pissed off and I move it to like way later, now she's going into that next scene but she's not pissed off, so it makes me see that scene differently. I hope that makes sense so far. But what I'm saying is that these scenes affect each other, obviously, and so when I change the order, it affects kind of the way I picture my story. And so because I've moved so many scenes around, it makes it hard for me to kind of see my story. And so what I think I will do is I'm going to sit down with my list of scenes, both in OneNote and with my index cards, and compare that to the order of scenes I have in my head. Because the order of scenes in my head is the most current, and I need everything to be consistent with one another. And basically straighten out the kinks, and then we'll see. Maybe I'll be slightly more motivated to write because I'll be a little bit more excited, and I'll be a little bit more kind of like in depth with the story. You know, when you do a lot of work with your story and it makes you excited, it makes you kind of feel more immersed in the story. And so I think that'll help with the motivation factor, and it could not come a minute sooner. Okay, so here is the new part 2. It's not really that, it has honestly didn't change it that much. but it was nice to kind of get my index cards in order. There was only like maybe 3 or 4 scenes that I really moved around, and there was a couple of scenes that I changed minorly. Like for example, originally one of the kind of leadership roles was being filled by one character, but then like I decided that it should be filled by a different character, because then that would cause a lot more tension between that character and Race, because they do not get along. The only card that I am getting rid of, and that's just because like I don't need to show this scene, like it's already implied that it happens. Yeah, so index cards are in order. I'm trying to figure out where to go from here. I was watching this show about volcanoes, so I mean I gotta finish watching it. This is my kind of show, dude. There's probably a marathon on. Next is hurricanes, then they have tornadoes, lightning, blizzards. Ooh, I gotta check that one out. That comes on at 7. Floods, avalanches. I think I saw that one already. But that blizzard one, I gotta check that out, because remember how I told you this book is being nicknamed Snowflake? There's a reason why. The place where my main character lives has frequent blizzards. In case you didn't get the gist, this is a very international type of book. Like I mentioned Venice earlier, and I'm mentioning blizzards now. Like this book takes place in a lot of places around the world. So like I'm always like doing research on like locations and stuff. And that's one reason I love these shows on the Weather Channels, because then I get to see what these places actually look like, not just in pictures on Google Images. And that's also why I love to travel so much, because then I get to see these places as well. Hello. So it is April 29th, Sunday night, and it's like 6:42 p.m. and I literally just came home from Barnes & Noble. So I was there, well actually let me just recap my day for you. So I woke up, got dressed, went to the movie theater and saw Avengers Infinity War. Felt some kind of way about that movie. I really liked it actually, but the story ended in such a different way that a lot of stories don't dare to end, that I really respect it for that. Whenever I watch movies at the movie theater, especially if I like them, I always sort of feel inspired to write. Like, you know, just engaging with this other story makes me want to look at my own stories. And so right after the movie theater, I drove across the street to Barnes & Noble's. I was there for what must have been like 5 hours. And I wrote 4,089 words, which puts my word count at 23,189. So as you can see, we still have like about 6,811 words to go till we hit 30,000, and tomorrow is the last day of the month. So I'd like to say I'm not done writing tonight, but I still have to like make dinner and get ready for tomorrow, and I want to be in bed early, and so that really only gives me like a couple hours to get in bed. So I don't honestly realistically know if I'm going to write tonight, but we'll see. I'm super proud of myself. I did such good work today at Barnes & Noble's. Like, you know, it took me a little bit to get into it, but especially since like the last time I was telling you I wasn't like super motivated by the particular scenes I was writing, but stuff started to happen, like drama. It started to get super like more dramatic and more tense as I continued writing. Like the scenes became more tense, and there was a couple of scenes in there I didn't know were gonna come, but I realized like as I was writing that I had to include a scene about that. And so we're doing well. We're doing well. I'm looking forward to the next couple scenes as well, which is a super good sign considering I still have to write 6,800 words tomorrow after a full day of work. So let's see, I get off work at like 3:30, then I'll probably just go straight across the street to Panera Bread and, you know, write for a couple hours until rush hour traffic dies down. Because I'm telling you, that traffic means takes me like 40 minutes to get home, and that's valuable writing time, dude. I will check in with you tomorrow and let you know how I'm doing. 6,800 words, dude. We're so close. Why do I always put myself in this situation? Just something like this, a little bit of this, you know, maybe something like this. Straight after work, I went to Panera Bread. So I was there for like probably 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Sorry, I have like this, my lungs, you know. And I wrote 3,433 words in the 3.5 hours. I'm a little warm, I gotta take this off. Whew, okay. This brings my total word count to 28,191. So it's 7:38 at night on August 30th. No, April 30th, my goodness. That leaves me with 1,809 words left to write. I don't want this to be another 50,000 word in August situation where, you know, I didn't finish my word count until like a few minutes, like 20 something minutes after midnight on the first day of the next month. We don't want that, okay? Also, I didn't have a full-time job then, and I was on vacation at the time, so I definitely had the luxury of staying up as late as I wanted to. I don't have that luxury now. I'm an adult. We have to be responsible. We have to go to bed at reasonable hours. I'm checking with you later once I hit my word count, because it will happen, and it will happen, I hope, by 9:30, because that's when I need to be in bed. Enough chit-chatting. Let's get to click-clacking. I'm so done. I still have like 750 words left to go, and I'm just like, you know how sometimes you get to a point where you can't stop thinking about food, and therefore you lose any productivity you had? Well, now I can't stop thinking about going to bed. It's 9:42, so I definitely did not hit my 9:30 mark, but that's partly because I had to shower and put something together for dinner and then eat it, and then I was talking on the phone with my mom. Yeah, I basically just did like the bare minimum. Honestly, I may not write anything for the rest of the week. But I just feel slightly burned out from the past couple of days of like writing over 5,000 words. So congratulations, novelists. Thank you guys so much for watching and coming with me this month. I hope all of your writing journeys, if you did participate, I hope they went well. If you did participate, let me know down below how you did. I'd love to see how my fellow writers did. Whether you won or not, it's just important to know, and you've probably heard this before, you've probably read it in the emails and the messages that the Camp NaNoWriMo people send out. If you wrote something that you wouldn't have written otherwise. Whether you wrote 5 words, 500 words, 5,000, 50,000, that could go on. No matter how many words you wrote, you still wrote. And that's what's important. So thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a like, hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. And I will see you later. Toodaloo. We had it easy. We had